Hi everybody! Since getting back from Bulgaria, we've gotten lots of questions for photos and stories, so I thought I would put together this quick slideshow to give you a very quick overview of where we went and what we did. So, real quick, just in case you didn't know, Bulgaria is in Eastern Europe, it's over here, and then Romania is also just north of it, and those are the two places that we went. So here's a quick map of Bulgaria. We flew into Sofia, we made our way to Veliko Trnovo, and then we went north all the way into Romania to Brasov, which is not far from the Bran Castle. So we did a day trip, side trip over there to go see Dracula's castle. And then back into Bulgaria, we then made our way toward the Black Sea, did a one-night stay in Shumen before making our way to Sozopol. We spent 2 days in Sozopol and then made our way to Plovdiv, which is the second largest city in Bulgaria, and it is also close to the city where Sean did his Peace Corps service, which is Smolyan. We had a day trip to the Bakovo Monastery and then also to Shrukaluka, and then made our way back to Sofia, side trip to the Rila Monastery, and then flew home. So 16 days. Let's see it. So here we are. We had to get there fresh and with our bags at the airport. That's our plane. I was excited to see that Pitch Perfect 2 was offered on the entertainment system. Don't worry, there was plenty of wine to get us through the trip. And breakfast/dinner in Germany. It was actually quite delicious. And then here we are in Sofia. Hooray! So day one, of course, starts with breakfast across the street from this church. It was really, again, quite beautiful. This is the Alexander Nevsky Church, and one of the largest there in the city. So we had to take a picture with it. And then the Peace Corps office, which is no longer open because Peace Corps isn't in Bulgaria anymore, but it has been closed and since made into a restaurant. So there Sean is in front of the old Peace Corps building. And then off to Veliko Trnovo. Really pretty town. A river runs through it, and so everything's kind of on the the hillside from this river that cuts through the hills. So here we are. Those were views from our hotel room, and then this is us standing on that platform there in the middle. There's a fortress there. It was cool. Very picturesque, all of the old walls and the drawbridge. It was in order during those dates. Yeah, pictures, fun stuff up in the tower. Then we found a ladder to go storm the castle. It's not really a castle, it was a church up there, but it was fun. We found a ladder anyway. And then we made our way to Brasov, Romania, and Brasov is also an old town. We had to cross the Danube River to get there and take a train. That was my first train ride that wasn't the Georgetown Loop or light rail. There were towers up on the hillside, so this picture is taken from the tower. This is the Black Church, and obviously from the tower view and then from the ground view. And that's a picture of one of the towers. These are the old walls of the walled city. And this is the city square, the Black Church here in the background, but a fountain complete with pigeons. But that weekend they had an opera festival going on, so that was pretty cool. Lots of graffiti, but this one was kind of amusing. Our side trip to the Dracula Castle in Bran, Romania. It was a picture-perfect drive here to the castle. So lots of pictures with the castle. It was pretty. It was kind of cool. Complete with secret passageways and a great courtyard. And then we made our way to Shumen, Bulgaria. This is just a quick stopover. We were there one night and didn't have a hotel, so this was our last minute hotel, where this is the shower head connected to the faucet on the sink, and obviously no shower curtain. The whole bathroom was the shower, so everything got wet. You had to remember to take the toilet paper out. And then everything was on a sensor light, so we found this great floor-length mirror in the hallway, but we couldn't stop moving long enough to take the picture. So here we are flapping our arms to get the picture. Finally, we made it out to Sozopol, Bulgaria, on the Black Sea. This was just such a cute little town, so picturesque. It was stormy, windy, and rainy a lot of the time, but it didn't stop us from sightseeing. This is St. George Church. Again, it was just gorgeous views here on the Black Sea. Terraced restaurants everywhere you went with great views. Something that caught me that I thought was funny was that curbs are kind of a suggestion. Here everybody just kind of parks on the sidewalk wherever they want, so I thought that was funny. And then we were also stopping in antique shops here and there, and we found this piece. It's from, I think it's the 36 Olympics that were in Germany, but if you notice, it has a Nazi symbol on it, so it's just crazy to think of what shows up in an antique shop in Europe versus in America. And again, cobblestone roads, it was just so pretty. Then we made our way to Plovdiv. Plovdiv was cool because lots of Roman ruins here. So we took the train to get there, and this is the Roman stadium and the Roman amphitheater. Some Roman ruins on top of the hilltop that haven't been restored, but it was cool because you could go up there. There were lots of people up there watching the sunset. And then we made our way to the Bukovo Monastery. This was kind of a little south of Plovdiv. But there was a bit of a reality check at this point where, looking around, a lot of the buildings were very run down. They just don't maintain them. They'll invest and build new buildings, but to upkeep old ones, if it's usable, they use it, and if not, they just kind of abandon it and move on to the next one. So I took lots of photos just trying to kind of give that idea that it's definitely still a developing country. Then we made it to Smolyan. Yay, this is the town where Sean lived for 2 years. We stayed here for 3 days. This is the school where Sean taught at, and this was his classroom. These were his windows of his classroom. This is his old apartment right up here on the fourth floor? Yeah, I think 3rd or 4th floor. So that was pretty cool. This is an Adirondack that was right outside of the apartment complex where they would all go and socialize with the neighbors and sit outside and drink and eat. And so, of course, we had a drink to cheers to his time there in Smolyan. This is the walkway. Again, it's kind of modern. Lots of stores and restaurants here along the walkway. A rooftop bar. This is actually a bar that he used to frequent all the time, so we had to stop there. This is the church. There's a crazy story about the church. You need to ask Sean about it. I don't have time to tell you about in my 10-minute slideshow. And then a beautiful mosque at the top of the hill. We got to go in there. And then this is the Hunter's Bar, literally a hole in the wall. This little nook back here is the bar. That is the serving bar. But this was a place that he used to hang out all the time with a lot of the older guys who were hunters that lived in the town. So many a night he spent here, so of course we had to have a drink there. And then here's sunrise here in Smolyan. And rakia, cheers to Smolyan with some rakia. This is a Bulgarian liqueur that you can only get in Bulgaria. So, Shruk Luka, this was a little town that one of his friends lived in, and so we went and visited here. The arched bridges, beautiful church. Again, some things are maintained, some things are not. This is like one of 3 restaurants in the town, and again, one that Sean frequented when he lived there. we had a little trip to go hiking one day, and this was cool because this is Simoleon right down here through this canyon almost. Simoleon actually is well known for its outdoor stuff, so it was cool to get to go out for a hike and see some waterfalls, and this was an old trout farm. And then waterfalls, yay. Then we made our way back to Sofia. This is the mosque here in Sofia, another St. George church. We did a side trip to the Rila Monastery that started first with another church. This is cool because it was built in 3 parts. This was built in the 11th century, the 13th century, and then the 19th century. And we found a Martinitsa in the tree. We celebrated this last spring, and so it was kind of fun to find them hanging in the tree there on the church grounds. And then we ran into traffic. Crazy Bulgarian traffic. It was supposed to be a 2-hour drive, and we sat for 5 hours in this traffic. It was crazy. Finally, we made it to the monastery. Woohoo! I've kind of never been so happy to get to a monastery. But it was so cool. They've upkept it so well, and it was, again, so much history. You can actually stay here in the monastery if you wanted to. We did not. This tower was built in 1034. Don't quote me on that, but 10 something. And yeah, it was pretty cool to see it. And then finally, but sadly our trip came to an end. Sean is displaying his best Bulgarian smile here. We've decided that Bulgarians they just don't smile much. So this actually was the view outside of our hotel the last 2 nights there in Sofia. We splurged for the Radisson, and yes, that's the Alexander Nevsky Church here in the background. It was just a awesome view. We were so happy to be there. Our last shopska salad. We had salad every single day, and one last rakia. And then we were on the plane. I think he still loves me after all of that. It was a really great trip, and that's it. So thanks for watching our photos. Hope you enjoyed.